Good morning.
All right, this is Madcap Music Review, and we're here with Jesper Binzer from D.A.D. All the way from Copenhagen, Denmark. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. Actually, we're not D.A.D because that reminds you of your dad. A rock band should not remind you of your dad. We're called D.A.D. Originally, we were called Disneyland After Dark, but I'm not allowed to say it.
Because of the Disney company.
What are we going to do now? Someone's going after us. No, but it's okay. So if you just promised to say Disneyland After Dark from now on, so I'm not forced to say it.
Disneyland After Dark.
Yeah, that's the old.
Since 1982?
Yeah.
84, I know, is when you guys celebrated.
I think we forgot a couple of years. Never talk about a lady's age.
Yeah.
No, but it's we're 29 years old this year, and next year we're gonna do some, 30 years celebration. I think we finally will release that, the greatest hits, the real, the thing where you just pop that in and it keeps on playing hits.
But you guys blew up in '89 with Sleeping My Day Away. Yep. No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims. That was a huge album for you guys.
It was, really was. I mean, it's funny, how things go in circle up and down, and we were extremely confident that things were working out, and that album it was mainly built up around one feeling, you can say, one frame of mind, and we'd never done that before in that sense, and maybe we never really did it afterwards either. Maybe we always, we paid our dues. We're allowed to make a funny song over here and another kind of song over here, and so we've been creative, but we've never really been, super focused. And
gosh, you guys, 2005, you played the Rock Slide Festival with Black Sabbath was on there, and Brian Wilson, and you guys have shared the stage with some of the biggest bands ever.
Standing there and watching Ozzy Osbourne jump up and down his funny frog leaps. That was, and he was singing so good that night. They were playing so well. It was such a great, good experience.
So what brings you guys back to California? It's been a long time.
Yeah. A lot of small reasons. I don't think the big one is that we just want to have some fun, and we just want to, I need some new audiences for my old jokes. That's mainly. This album that came out in Europe a year ago, which is out now, it's coming out in the end of April. That's the main reason, you could say. The main reason is that we need to support the album release. But also we've been reconquering Europe in many ways. We thought that maybe we could use the energy, maybe even reconquering the States.
It's interesting too, your 11th album comes out on November 11th, 2011, 11/11. And here in America, that's Metal Day.
It is?
Yeah, it is. They started that about 2 years ago, Metal Day. VH1 does a huge thing where they play metal videos all day. Yeah.
Wow, funny coincidence.
And I love the spelling on it, because the album's actually called Disneyland After Dark, just kind of differently spelled, right?
Spelled out so you just to confuse the enemy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so last night you guys just got done playing the Whiskey. How was it?
We played the Whiskey. That was, in a funny way, it wasn't what I thought it would be, a trip back in time.
The Doors and all that?
Yeah, it felt like here and now, and it was a great little rock club, and we played good, and people were very happy. There were some guys from the Cult down and watched us, and they were texting me today saying that it was great. So I'm a happy camper.
It's awesome. And so metal has always been alive and well in Europe. It's always been, people have always loved it. America, it was a tough time in the 90s when the grunge came, and
metal should be and is a subculture, and it should be treated as a subculture, so that you could let the creative juices flow without, being sucked up by mainstream. It's very important that it stays subculture in a way. In Europe, it's almost subculture. It's not played on the radio. It's not considered a cool form of art or anything. But there's a huge amount of people coming to those festivals. We've always tried, because we started out in the punk. So we always had this ambiguous, we're going to jump into, but metal fans, like, if you generally speaking, very loyal, and they hang on to D.A.D, so that's where we are as well. But in Scandinavia, we're a mainstream band, so it's a funny thing that suddenly, when we cross the border to Germany, we become someone else, and then we come back into Denmark, and then it's funny.
right? The Wacken, you got the Wacken Festival going on over there?
Yeah, we played the Wacken loads and loads of times.
So now you guys, I mean, you guys have a pretty big year planned ahead. You're going to France, you're going to Germany.
And you know what? This will maybe be a first on the big internet. We're playing China. We're actually playing China the 1st of May and the 3rd of May in a big thing called MIDI Festival.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
That is pretty big over there because there's a lot of censoring going on. And
I think that they're opening up a bit. I think they're ready to have entertainers over more than political agitators. I think that rock has turned into some entertainment. Let's see what happens. We'll just do what we do normally, and let's see if we can get arrested or hailed as new heroes.
Right?
Communist heroes.
Where did you guys started? It was almost like kind of like going against what punk was about back in the day. All the negative energy, right? And you kind of brought a little bit of fun and a little melody to the music.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And in a funny way, that's what we've done ever since. Maybe also in the harder rock department. It's funny. I think it's to keep your juices flowing. You need to get out of the place you were before. You need to do something different from the album before. You need to move. You need to maybe even disappoint people's expectations a little. You need to move. So we've always moved, and we've done that for 29 years. I think that if you take what you love and just add a little to it, add a little something, add a little craziness to it, then it's much more interesting than if you just keep on maybe towards a cliched way of doing it. You need to spice it up.
Mix it up a bit.
Mix it up.
Absolutely. And even back in '86 on Draws the Circle, you said, I won't cut my hair. I love the colors I wear, I won't cut my hair. And here we are, almost 30 years later, and you're still doing it.
I wear.
Right? Yep. And you haven't cut your hair?
I haven't cut my hair.
That's awesome. Yeah. We're just really pleased and fortunate to have you here in Long Beach, and we're so lucky.
We're happy to be here, and it's been 23 or 24 years since we were last in America playing. I mean, it's such a pleasure, and you can imagine some people have waited. Wow, they have waited, and they're so happy. They are almost in tears when they see us. So it's like we feel wanted over here.
You very much are.
We're going back home to Copenhagen tomorrow, actually.
Wow.
And, but then it's just up to you out there in Webland to call in and do whatever to bring us back.
And the best way for the fans out there to get a hold of you and find out what's going on in the world at Disneyland After Dark, D.A.D., how do they find you on the web?
I think you should just Google us, and if you just punch in D.A.D.dk, that's us definitely. But there's loads of other ways to reach. There's a Facebook page. There's loads and loads and loads of funny stuff on YouTube. It shouldn't be a problem. Just try it. We're only a couple of clicks away.
Well, thank you for having us. Thank you for coming out and bringing the metal and supporting metal. And D.A.D., check them out.
Yep.
You won't regret it.
Nope. Definitely not.
All right, brother.
See ya.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us out.